I wanted to talk a little bit today. I'm putting this program together for Imaging USA, which is going to be all cyber, all online, not face to face this year, which is going to be a little strange and unusual. In Parker fashion, I'm late getting it completed, but I'm close to being done. If any PPA people are out there, I know it was due 2 days ago. Classic. Um, oh, hey, Sarah. How are you, Sarah Beth? Big hugs. Hi, little Parker. I got a little Parker out there. No, I don't have a little Parker out there, just so I'm clear. There's a kid from a different father that is named Parker as well, and actually named after me. How cool is that? Yeah, kind of famous in like four people's lives. Um, so I'm doing this thing on for Imaging USA, and they asked me to teach on alternative process. And so, in my thinking of what I consider alternative process, is a pretty narrow window. Um, but then I started thinking, it's like, wait, well, that's the old version of what alternative process is. It's like, everything in here, it all deals with silver and film and alchemy and, all that good, beautiful stuff that eats your hair away, which I think is amazing. But I think we're also leaving out the modern aspect of the alternative process. And I think there's so many modern digital alternative processes. Um, One of the things that I also consider is like, well, anything that we do that is different than the way we normally do it is an alternative process. So my head kind of got spinning, and I thought I'd go through a little history of like my alternative processes. Not in the film realm. I mean, I start the. I'm going to start the platform class with that, but I'm going to focus mainly on like what I consider a modern day alternative process. And this is just one of them. Like you see my screen here, and there's a bunch of round images and kind of round square images, and these aren't like you know vignettes or crops or any kind of overlays in Photoshop. This is all in camera stuff. So like the round ones up here are all made with a an 8 millimeter movie lens. Not That's not the focal length. That's the film size it covers. So like Super 8 is bigger than 8 millimeters. So an 8 mil Scout. My God, Fortnite is taking over my house, and I can't conduct myself here. I earned another a cool drink of water. This little round lens doesn't cover the full sensor of a full frame camera. So I adapted it on there, and it shoots these beautiful little round images. I've got like 5 or 6 different lenses that I use that does this technique, and I really enjoy it. They're really, really sharp, but they're really, really beautiful too. I'll make them a little bigger here so you can kind of see some of these, having a little fun. And the round makes almost anything interesting. It's the funniest thing. I walk down the street and I see these different things, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is the Guggenheim Museum, but lining it up so it's I'm Muse, and you know, yeah, I don't know, trying to be clever. This is like a mail slot hole. Just different ways of seeing. And I think the round is definitely it's something I've been doing this for quite a long time, and I do it on my large format cameras too. I have a lens for my 8x10 that I photograph paper negatives the same way, so everything's in the round, and it's kind of been a thing. I've got a catalog of like 1,500 of these things that I just love and want to do a show or a book. Maybe it's another book, I don't know. Stay tuned. But it's kind of fun. And then there's onto this. So, this isn't round. This also isn't Photoshop. There's no overlays here. The little, oh yeah, I can use my pointer. Like you can see this thing going around here, this stain or whatever. That's just coffee that's been baked in the oven in this camera. So this made these. Well, kinda. Imagine this looking down through, right? So you're photographing the viewfinder that's right there. So your camera goes right in here, and you like line it up in there and click a Rooney, and you get this. So whatever you do to this viewfinder is how the image comes out. And I have several different kinds of these. Now this is an old, I don't know what the film format is. It's a, well, they always say on the inside. You can hide stuff in cameras. Um, it's a 620 film size. I'll be okay. I'm turning a little red here. Oh, oh, oh. Well, there's only 6 people that saw that, so that's good. That's good. So what I do is that's one way to shoot this thing. And then if I go over, you can see you can, now this I just laid out 4 on the same thing because I love the little sun flares that this thing gives that are outside of the frame. I think it's just really unique and interesting. And it's a thing where the black that you see here is actually the black on the inside of the camera, so it actually is flaring into the black. So the frame goes all the way out here, right? Yeah. And so what I do is I'll take that camera. So this camera is the one that I just showed you. It's the same thing. You can see the lens on top is square, and that's the viewing lens. This is the taking lens that would go to the film, right? So I have it set up to where you can, let me turn it like this. There you go. So now you can see what I'm photographing. I've got it all blacked out in here with gaff tape. And so this is what you're photographing. There's no focus or anything. Everything's always in focus, near or far. And so I just walk around with this thing, and I sometimes write something up here to get people to look, and you just like walk around and snap, snap, snap. It's the funnest thing ever. So I've got many different types of these that I've built over the years. These are just a couple. They all have their unique views. Like this one is just a little bit different look. Yeah, I just wanted to go through a couple of these and show you. It gives just a wonderful, like old vintage stuff. This is Cadillac Ranch out in Texas, and did like a whole series of all the cars here. And then, oh my gosh, my phone's blowing up. Old hotels and motels that are in the Cherokee area here in North Carolina. This is another way. This is this camera. And so took it on a wedding day and set it down on this brick courtyard and just had the bride kind of walk by. And so you're getting this really cool low angle, and you're just shooting right onto the top of this, right, and focusing in there. Again, this is like super long time ago. It's not recent. I photographed for a band and did kind of the same thing, only this is like all kinds of lighting. I'm lighting them with, I think, 4 lights, and then I'm lighting the camera with 2 lights. So it got a little complicated, but I think it turned out pretty slick, and it was just nice on the inside of the album cover. Kind of a cool way to do that. Yeah, and then we're underwater. This is another band that I shot, a Christian rock band or maybe a Christian band. I don't know if they're a rock band, but but this is the same thing. It's one of my old Hasselblads. that I just photographed straight down through. Again, lighting them with a whole series of stuff, a whole bunch of baffles in between, and then lighting the camera with a little bit of tungsten to give it that kind of the gold gilding on the Holy Bible. I wanted that to all kind of flow along, right? But them to be in a different color tone within the frame. So, hey, Scout. Wait, just, and one more. So that's really all I wanted to do today. It was just touch a little bit on this, some of the alternative processes that I've gone through, and of course the whole series that I just did during COVID on my birthday. Like these are all, I guess, considered alternative process. They're 5x7 shot straight to silver gelatin paper, no film, and then processed in my own unique, weird way. But all of these are also, I guess, considered alternative process. But I mean, really, my head just started spinning a little bit when I started writing out this whole seminar of how I was going to teach on the alternative process and figuring out, it's just like, wow, like anything we do that is out of the norm is an alternative process. Like it's not textbook, old school thought. You know, it's not a Van Dyke Brown or cyanotype or ambrotype or whatever. It can be digital, it can be film, it can be whatever. It can be iPhone. Like I even put iPhone stuff in here. Yeah. So I started using the iPhone this year as well, and actually, it all started with photographing this old basketball I found in actually a client's backyard, and I was like, I just have to photograph this thing, and I was just absolutely stunned that this is from an iPhone. Like, blew me away, and I'm like, wow, that's always truly with me. So, Christian Lavon, hey buddy, all is good. I hope all is good with you too, or well. I don't know. I don't want to. I think you said it right, but then when I returned it, I should have said well, because the grammar police might be after me. Of course, you're in Canada, so I don't think it matters up there. Eh? Um, so iPhone photography, I started down this kind of rabbit hole and started photographing all this crazy stuff, just really a project of things that I found. This is like at a college down the road, way back in the forest behind the tennis courts. And I found all these old tennis balls, golf balls, baseballs, all these different kinds of balls that people play with around there in the forest. And they all were like growing their own little ecosystems. And I just loved, I've got one, it's not in here, that the whole plant is growing out of the ball. Like it's just really, really unreal. And just the definition and just the way these look. Now these, I haven't edited these, when I get ready to, finish all these out, these are just straight out of the iPhone. I haven't done anything with these. And they're shot on the back of a white car. So they're just set on the trunk lid and photographed. That's it. So I'm pointing here, but you can't see what I'm pointing at. So all these little specks and stuff, I'll, knock those out and make this a little brighter. And, the little shadow of me down here at the bottom, that's what that is. So I'll bring that back up. But, it's just, it's there. Let's see, what's Chris say? Amazing work as always. Oh, thank you, my friend. I guess you can't call it work when it's your passion. Right? Like this I know, it's like, so I'm unemployed with a really awesome hobby. Actually, the way it feels right now with the COVID thing. This iPhone again, which is an alternative process for me. Like I don't do a lot of iPhone photography, whereas someone who does a lot of iPhone photography, if they shoot an 8x10, then that's their alternative process. That's my normal process, right? So the iPhone becomes an alternative process, which fuels the other side. And I think all that I really want to get across in the seminar that I'm going to do, it's going to be in January, I think. I think it's January 11th, but don't quote me on that. Um, is I want to get across that the sooner we get out of like putting up walls around and putting ourselves in these boxes of like this is this kind of photography. It's like it's all like can it just all be art and this is what we do and we just push where we're not pushing. Like anytime we get in that really comfortable spot of like we know what we're doing, it's time to push. It's time to do something we don't know what we're doing. It's time to relearn and push ourselves. For me, it's kind of backwards from a lot of people, I would imagine, because I am now like going down the road of the iPhone of what can be done with it. So I've got underwater housings for my iPhone and creating like all this beautiful work. This is in a 24-inch swimming pool in my backyard, lined with black visqueen. That's it, and my iPhone on the widest setting. I have an iPhone 11 Pro and the really wide angle, whatever that is. These are actually in my 4-foot round hot tub. Like all of these, which is just amazing. And shot at night, and I've got a little Stella light on a stand that's just refracting on the surface of the pool and gives kind of a cool look. Kind of dig it. This is underwater at a friend's house, at his pool, at a friend's pool, and it gives all these just crazy faces and things. They're happy accidents, you know. And this is an iPhone photo, and it's actually an iPhone photo of one of my paper negatives that I was holding up with my thumb against the wall because I wanted to see, you know, what it looked like flipped in the darkroom. So I've got this app that flips it so it's not a negative anymore, and I can kind of see, you know, some of the tonalities that I want to see. And in doing so, my thumb created this whole thing, and you can see where some of the um, the chemicals that were on my thumb kind of drip down. It's just like, you know, it's like, are you kidding me right now? Like I made that with an iPhone, kind of. I made it with an 8x10 too. So yeah. So that's really all I wanted to go through here today. I've got like a whole bunch more stuff, but I think maybe that will do it for this episode. Thank you for the few people that joined in. It was fun. Alternative process and lighting. I'm going to go over that. Alternative process with double exposures, Holgas, let's see, double, triple exposures. This is all on paper negs. This is when I forget to flash the front of the face, you can see, and it turned into something most amazing for me. That's the favorite one I made that whole day, was that one, because I forgot to light the face. I forgot to pop the strobe on the face so it doesn't show up. And I get this like this mushroom cloud of a head brain kind of thing. Pretty awesome. Okay, well, thank you guys for joining in. Had a lively crowd today. Thank you, Chris and Sarah Beth, for your comments. And 20 minutes now gone. Well spent. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.